Hi everyone out there, Miamao 10 here with another No Man's Sky video. Hope you guys are all doing great. Today I thought we'd do some chlorine farming. I noticed just now there's a sentinel hovering around. What do you want, bud? Pivot. Alright, so let me show you guys the setup. Alright, so the basic idea is when you're early on in the game and you're still struggling for nanites, this is a really good way to do nanites. Your minimum that you need to have is your medium refiner, and then obviously some building parts to be able to do a setup for yourself. So I've already set that up here. Let me show you what it looks like. So the common idea is that you can have only 3 medium refiners on your base, but if you space them far enough apart, you can actually have quite a bit more. As you can see here, I've got 6 on the outside, and I know I've got another 1 or 2 inside the base. So yeah, you can have more than just 3. And for the chlorine farming, you definitely want to have about 6 to get this started. So the idea behind this is farming refining the chlorine with oxygen to maximize your output. So in this case, let's have a look here. Oh, before I do that, let me just show you here in my storage. So what I did is I've got 6 stacks of 2,500 chlorine and 6 full stacks of oxygen. You're going to be using more oxygen for the refining than you will chlorine, so I think this is a pretty good ratio to start off with. So it's about 1.5 stacks of chlorine and then the 6 stacks of oxygen. And I find the best place to find these space stations, anywhere where there's a high influx of NPC spawns that you can buy from. So in the medium refiners, we're going to pop in one of these, what do you want to call them? I suppose it's not really a quarter stack, it's more like yeah, it is a quarter stack. So let's stick a quarter stack of chlorine in there, and we're going to stick a full stack of oxygen in here. And if you notice there, it's 1 chlorine to 2 oxygen, and your output is going to be a lot more than you would expect. So let's get that started here, and we've got all 6, so we're going to do the same on each one. So 1 quarter stack chlorine, 1 full stack oxygen, go in, and we're going to repeat this process for each one of the refiners. Oops. To start it. So that's showing me about approximately 4 minutes to get a half a stack of chlorine so far. Let's see here. Again, the same little ratio. We're going to stick in here. Now, if I've worked it out correctly, I think you quadruple your chlorine. So basically what happens here is instead of getting 1 for 1, you're getting 1 for 4. So yeah, you can definitely up your amount of chlorine that you'll then sell for units. And the last one, let's get this one going. And all 6 of the refiners are now running. Let's go and have a look at that first one real quick. I know we're probably in a little early for it, but let's have a look. Yeah, so we're pushing pretty hard here. And then the next step will come once all of these have completed this cycle. And we'll get to that in a minute. In the meantime, just a bit of advice. You want to find a system. I suppose the 3-star systems would be best, but you want to find a system that has a high demand for chlorine. Try and keep all of your chlorine in one inventory, whether it's in your exosuit or in your starship or your freighter if you're lucky enough to have gotten that far. You want to keep it all in one inventory. You want to sell them in one go. If you sell them a little bit at a time, it's going to drop that demand and you will lose a lot of units as a result. So definitely make sure all at once. Look for a good system that has a nice high demand and sell them there. Once you've sold in a system though, yeah, you want to move on to a different system after that. Find another one that has a good demand. Let's have a look, see here. Oh, I don't have any. Do I have any chlorine on me? Yeah, I do. Alright, so the demand in this system currently is 2.5. So that's pretty dang good. I mean, for 3080, that's already 1.9 million units that you can make just off of that little, what, third of a stack? So if you're multiplying your chlorine and you get to the point where you've got multitudes of stacks, you're definitely looking at a really decent amount of units. I know this is the method that I used in my other normal save to make units, and it's also good to be able to use before, if you get to, if you're at the point where you cannot yet have an indium farm, if you haven't quite got those blueprints or the hyperdrive or whatever the case may be, this is a great way to do it. Alright, let's go and have a look how far these guys are, because we do need to get to the next phase of this little exercise. So they've got a few more seconds to go. I don't know if you noticed, we are at my little traveler base that Captain Steve actually featured on one of his videos. If you haven't seen his channel, guys, go and take a look. He is a ton of fun to watch. He's just a fabulous person, and I absolutely love his content. So yeah, this is my little traveler base. This is one of the very first creative builds I ever did. Just thought I'd give you guys a show there real quick. I'm very proud of this build. Hopefully this is almost done. Oh yeah, first one's done. Fantastic. So what you're going to do is you're not actually going to take your chlorine out yet. You're going to take this stack over here and you're going to push it in there. And look at that. You're already multiplying those amounts of chlorine. And then you can do this for each one. So just move the stack over to your input and then restart it. Bear in mind, I only had 1.5 stacks of chlorine when I started the video. So we will then see once we've done all of this. So I'm going to continue doing this until I run out of oxygen in the input. And then we'll have a look at how much we've been able to multiply the chlorine. And then go and sell it and see how much we can make from it. Oh, gotta start it, friend. Gotta start it. Start that one off. There we go. This is number 5. Move that stack over. Get that going. That stack over. Wrong stack. Move that stack over and get that going. So that's another 4 minutes that we're going to wait for these to complete. And then you're going to keep repeating that process as you go. And I guarantee you guys, you will make a killing. If you do this repeatedly, you'll be able to find that you might not even sell all of your stacks of chlorine. You might keep 1 or 2 stacks to do this again. Oxygen is not that expensive to buy, and I mean, by the time you've sold your first lot of chlorine, you're already going to be sitting in the black on units. So that's great. So while we're waiting for this, I'm going to take a short coffee break, and I will be right back with you guys. I'll see you in a bit. I'm back, guys. I had my coffee. Love my coffee. So let's have a look. I've already done another round on this where I've put the out, or what we've gotten out, into the input, and as you can see, I now have a surplus. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this over, but obviously we're going to have that surplus. Stick that in your exosuit and get that running again. Notice we aren't even halfway through the oxygen stack yet. I mean, the turnover for this is really, really great. So let's get that going again, and we're going to do this all the way around. Let's grab that little surplus and stick that in the exosuit. So this is what's going to start happening until that oxygen runs out. Just keep repeating this process. And I promise you, you're not going to regret it. Not for a second. Quickly do the other side here. Yeah. Oh, no. Don't want to start it yet. Take that out. And we want to start it. Oh my goodness. Gotta laugh at ourselves sometimes, right? Yep, most definitely. Last one. That over. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish processing or refining, sorry, until all of the oxygen is gone, and I will be back with you guys to show you what we've gotten out of 1.5 stacks of chlorine and 6 stacks of oxygen. It will blow your mind, I promise you that. I'll be back with you guys in a little while. Okay guys, I'm back and we are on the very last round of refining for the oxygen that we have put into the refiners. So let's get this last bunch of stuff out, or bunch of chlorine, bunch of stuff. And you'll notice I've switched starships. So we've depleted all the oxygen. Every single stack of oxygen that we put in, that 6 stacks, are all depleted now. So we're just taking the last out and I'm moving it into my starship. This is the one I use most for well, as a spare inventory, I suppose. So we're going to put everything in there so we can sell everything in one go directly from the starship. My little baby, you guys know this one. Alright, just these 3 to empty out. And you're going to be amazed at how we have managed to actually multiply this chlorine. It's crazy. I do want to amend my statement from earlier. It is that you turn 1 chlorine into 6, but you've got to remember we've been replacing the chlorine every time as it's been refining. So in actuality, we've just been depleting the oxygen, but we have this wonderful yield of chlorine. Let's have a look. Look at that. We started with 1.5 stacks, and let's have a look here. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 16 stacks, 16.5 stacks. So let's work that out real quick. Yeah, my mind math is not what it should be. So 16.5 times 9. No. Oops. Oh, come on, friend. If I've worked that out correctly, yeah, then we've gone from using 15,000 chlorine all the way to 164, almost 165,000 chlorine that we've managed to multiply to. I mean, that is insane. So what we're going to do now with our newly acquired chlorine, I'm going to hop into my starship here. We're going to head up to the space station. The only reason I'm doing this is I do find the demand is generally higher at the space stations than they would be at your terminals in your base. So I always go up to the space station to have a look and see. So let's get over there. Alright. Let's go inside here. Ooh, it's on the other side, Brad. No! What are you doing? Digging my beauty. See if we can get inside the space station without wrecking my ship. That would be awesome. And go and have a look at what we're going to get for all of this chlorine. This really is a great way to make units in start game, guys. It really is. Once you've got that medium refiner and you've managed to make a little bit of units, even if you only start with a half a stack of chlorine, it's gonna yield, irrelevant of how much. And then, as I mentioned before, the oxygen is not that expensive, so I mean, all right. Galactic Trade Terminal, what have you got for us? Let's see here. So we want to go over to our Starship inventory and look at that. The demand is 4.5 at the space station as opposed to the 2.5 that it was in base. And look at that, 103 million units, and that took me less than an hour to refine the 1.5 stacks and the 6 stacks of oxygen. Come the heck on. That is freaking phenomenal. So we're going to sell our chlorine. Thank you very much, high demand. And look at that. Look at those numbers rolling. I mean, that is flippin' awesome, guys. That is... I can't get over it. I love it, I love it, I love it. That is spectacular. So just remember, as long as you have your medium refiners and you've got a little bit of space to work on, just lay them out. I find the best distance spacer for me personally has been the landing pad. So I put a landing pad down and then I'll put 2 little floors on either side of the landing pad, put 3 on one side, put 3 on the other side, and you're good to go. And I'm telling you, less than an hour, and I just ridiculously increased that 1.5 stacks of chlorine. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's freaking awesome. Alright, ooh, did I just almost disappear under the floor? Haha. Alright guys, well that is chlorine farming. And I mean, if you have any other questions, if I've forgotten something, or even if you want to correct me on the numbers, because yes, my mind maths is not great. But that's okay. I'm great in other things, so that's cool. But till next time guys, really been fun doing this video for you guys again. Have fun, be safe out there, and I will see you real soon. Cheerio!